Accept reality and shape yourself around it. People love to live in their own bubble. They're like an ostrich that sticks their head in the sand whenever something inconvenient comes up. For example, you present people with the reality of women's predispositions when dealing with men, when dealing with society in general, and they'll say no what, or they'll call you a misogynist, or they'll call you bitter. They never present you with an actual argument because they know they don't have anything to stand on, so they stick their head in the sand. And the thing about Nawalt is that it's not just that it's a minority of women, it's the majority of women. So the excuse of Nawalt is probably the worst excuse I've ever seen. But that doesn't mean that you don't take into account legitimate criticisms. Yes, people like to live in their own bubbles, but that people also includes you. So you need to break your own bubble and accept reality for what it is. If I take an example, if you see you have a hamster that's in a cage with a wheel. When the hamster's on the wheel, it thinks that it's working so hard, but that he's not going anywhere. And then when he gets out of the wheel, he has more freedom, but he's still stuck in that cage. But when he gets out of the cage, he can do whatever he wants. And you want to break your own bubble and get out of that cage. Marriage and love, I think, is the biggest hamster cage there is. When people talk about love, they say something you can't explain, something that you need to experience yourself. Well, I say, if you can't prove it to me, then I'm not going to believe in it. And when I say love, I don't really mean love as a chemical reaction. I think that exists for sure. But what I'm talking about is love as an idea that lasts forever, that's lifelong. And I don't think this exists at all. Like soulmates, I don't think it exists at all. Marriage has the same dilemma as love, although in a slightly different way. When presented with the fact that 50% of marriages end in divorce in developed nations, and 2/3 of them are initiated by women, and when these divorces are initiated, the family courts shaft you completely. Yet when presented with these facts, people still say, oh, not all women are like that, you just need to find the right girl. You know that they're an ostrich putting their head in the sand when they're brought with damning evidence, and they still can't accept the reality in front of them. And accepting this reality will improve your life so much. It'll save you 18 years of debt in the future, and several years before that of torture living with someone that you don't even love. Truth is stranger than fiction, but it is because fiction is obliged to stick to possibilities. Truth is not. Be open-minded, like a sponge soaking in the water of knowledge. Now, it is believed that newborn babies, they can speak every language, or rather have the potential to speak every language, but are taught out of all but one. And you see this reflected in society. When we're kids, we're always taught, what do you want to do when you grow up? What makes you happy? And you remember your time as a child, and you love every moment of it. But then slowly, you're conditioned to go out of it. You're conditioned to become a rat in the rat race. you're conditioned to become a worker drone. It's no longer about chasing your dreams, it's about making money. And they call this maturing? I don't think so. I think this is a devolution in our views, in our way of thinking. Accept reality and be open-minded and use this reality to evolve. Because if you shape yourself around reality, you can only become better. And MGTOW is the amalgamation of this evolution, of this acceptance. MGTOW stands for men going their own way. It's a way of life which refuses to defer to women and society in defining the worth of men. Instead, we allow men themselves to define themselves and choose their own path in life. Going your own way allows you to attain happiness and self-love. Going your own way allows you to base your value on yourself. Going your own way filters out all the bullshit in your life. Going your own way means to not let your life revolve around goals like getting a well-paying 9-to-5 job, having a white picket fence house and 2.5 kids. It means that you focus on the journey, not the destination. You focus on living the happiest life that you can, rather than living for someone else. Now, if this means having a family, that's fine. But it does never necessitate having a family. Because you will see in society that people think that you can't be happy without someone else. You can't be happy without going a certain way that they ordain as the happy way. In reality, going your own way is the way to be happy, because you focus on yourself. Going your own way lets you set your own rules instead of following society's rules, which are specifically set up to make you fail. Failing in the regards that if you want the goal of being happy, society does not want men to be happy, they want men to be useful. So going your own way allows you to avoid a game that is rigged, and the only way to win is to be MGTOW, to go your own way. The only way to win is to not play.